Good Saturday morning. Today I'm meeting up with Sunset Riders Club for their Saturday morning ride. They're a cycling group out of Pembroke Pines, Florida. Really good group of folks. They're doing 56 miles. I don't think I want to have that distance, but I can't do that distance today. I've got a very busy day. I've got bikes that I got to get going. So I'm going to ride out with them out north for a little bit, solo it back home, and then head out with the rest of my day. I got some treats for y'all today. And today I'm featuring a new wheel set. It's the Tune 4550. I did a little bit of an unboxing. I'm still getting to know them. My first ride on them. They've got some interesting features built into their wheels. I see the flashing lights. All right, let's roll. Morning. Morning, guys. Morning. Hey, man, how you doing? Big group ride and small group ride. What's the difference? In today's video, I'm going to share segments of two rides I did on the same day. I will do a bit of voiceover to talk about the differences I feel when I do these different types of rides. And I will also lend an initial kind of impressions of these Tune wheels. But there's going to be an in-depth review and technical breakdown coming real soon. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel so that you don't miss it. The first ride that I'm doing is the Sunset Group Ride, as I said, and I decided to join them just to switch things up a bit. They had a 56-mile ride planned on this day. They were going to go north. I was going to jump in with them for a little bit, and then I would kind of like work my way back solo, seeking instead to get maybe about 35 or 40 miles. But it seems like because there's another event taking place, a number of their club members decided to do that, so we ended up with what you see here. A group of 6 plus me, making 7, riding double pace line and eventually taking turns. So big rides and small rides are navigated in slightly different ways. With smaller rides, there's less shelter from the wind, and this could give the impression that the ride will be harder. But that is only partly correct. The first difference between small rides and big rides is that there are less surges in the smaller rides because there's less cyclists. So it is a steadier effort, and if you have the fitness, the workout can be more manageable, let's just say. Both rides can wear your butt down, but this ride will just grind you down with a consistent application of power. Think of it as a diesel effort. Solution? There is none. You can't hide on these rides. Either you have the engine or you don't.
When you get to 136, make a left. Do a U-turn on 136.
Guess it's my turn to be on the front. Because I have been paying attention, I know we are starting out with a cross headwind, then we'll get a more direct headwind as we start heading east. So I'm going to take it up slow. This is not my group, so I don't set the pace. I just match whatever the cyclist next to me does. Before, and I've got to emphasize this, before I get in trouble, I will pull off with enough energy to make sure I can latch back on with the group and not get distance. Ego doesn't serve you well on rides like these. I stay with Sunset Riders heading west, then I can jump in with Ride 84 as they head back east. I'm going to be going south. This will give me a nice tow to within 5 miles from home. Oh, look at the anguish on the faces. So that's the A group coming through, and that means that the B group is going to be coming through in a minute. And here they come now. All right, let me get rolling. Commentary later. Yo, what's up, bro? Well, that's different. Not only is this bigger, it is also a quasi peloton pretending to be a double pace line. There are a lot of riders, which makes the draft more effective if you know where to position yourself, but I'm also looking for gaps or dropped wheels to come around in case somebody is inattentive or just losing it. It is by nature a very surgy ride. It will feel more like you are doing intervals, let's just say. I feel like I will work harder on the smaller ride, but work with more intensity on the bigger ride, if that makes sense, because the workload is very different. I think both types of rides are necessary to develop as a cyclist, just like my last video on building base miles. It is all very necessary and all part of the soup that makes us better on the bike. So this will be my initial ride impressions of these Tune wheels with the Yukta hubs, 45 millimeters in the front, 50 in the back. They are race wheel stiff, meaning, see, a lot of people, I think, kind of confuse non-compliance for stiffness. Like when a wheel beats you up vertically, that's not what you want. And sometimes that's a trade-off to having a wheel that's designed to be stiff, like race wheel stiff, like what I just mentioned. But these, what they do is when you accelerate, there's very little deviation that I feel coming from the hub to the rim, meaning that my energy is propelling the bike forward. The same thing when I hit the brakes, is like it's responsive. They're unexpectedly aero and very efficient. I was comfortably on the front riding into a headwind. We went from 21, 23, I think we kind of like topped out at 24 into that headwind, but they did the job. Quality, you feel it. The width of the 25 millimeters internal is welcome. They certainly corner very efficient. So, but that's what I know so far. So obviously I'm gonna spend more time on these, putting them through their paces, and then I'll come back later on in a future video with more ride impressions. I'd like to hear your thoughts are on those two different types of rides. Here's what I think in a nutshell, and keep in mind, I'm not a cycling coach. This is just my experience, and your results may vary. That first ride that I showed with a smaller group ride, I think that's the type of ride that makes you strong as a cyclist because you can't hide, you're doing work, and you're just putting out, like I mentioned, that diesel effort. The second ride is the type of ride that makes you faster, meaning it builds speed in your legs. And yes, there is such a thing. That's why coaches have cyclist motor pace. And even though that's not motor pacing, it's not that far off from motor pacing because of the higher cadence that you're spinning to maintain the speed and the variation of pressure that you're applying to the pedals. Reminds me a lot of motor pacing. So, but anyway, let me know what your thoughts are about those two types of rides. And also, recently on the channel, I did a video where I talked about the importance of building base miles, and that's currently running. I'll post a link to that so that you can check it out, because I think all of these things are part of the process of helping us to become a well-rounded cyclist. Now, I did not have any power data on this video, and that's changing because the folks over at Magene have recently sent out the P715 power meter pedals. So we're going to be getting this on the bike so that I can have a more consistent dialogue with you guys about what I feel that the bike is, what I know the bike is doing under me based on the power output that I'm using to get the bike to do what I've got to get it to do. We're truly going to find out what bike, what wheel set, what tires, what pressures are more efficiently. And speaking of which, the folks over at Campagnolo North America have recently sent out this Specialized Tarmac SL8, not because they want me to ride a tarmac, but the bike is equipped with a new 13-speed Super Record wireless system. So I'm going to go over a series of riding the bikes to get the impression of the group set, the ergonomics, the shifting. We're going to talk about the thumb lever, the thumb button, the thumb shifter, and find out if I feel it's in the right place. Not that that matters, but we're going to talk about that. So yeah, make sure you subscribe though so that you don't miss this content that we've got coming forward. Yeah. And I think that's where I'm going to leave it. As I said, let your voices be heard on the topics of doing different rides to get different types of fitness gains. All right, guys, I appreciate you. Continue to support our channel by watching our videos, liking, commenting, and subscribing. And as always, our aim here is to inform, instruct, inspire. Be blessed.